Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone, time for our Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. I don't know where my star is on this, but I have completed this tutorial. In fact, some of the tutorials, do they even show stars? Oh yeah, some of them do show, check marks. I do see check marks on these ones, but for some reason, check marks are not showing up on the London-Faversham high speed. That will probably fix itself when I reboot the game. This tutorial one is just a bit fussy, not the first time it's messed up on me. But in any case, we're going to go ahead and look at the TVM signaling today. So this is probably all in the high-speed section of the route, and it is probably special signaling, which we have not seen before in some cases. Let's go ahead and take a look at this right now as we learn how to drive high speed in the UK. Hello, driver. In this scenario, you will be learning to read the TVM signal display in your cab. TVM signaling is used on the high-speed section of this route between Ebbsfleet and St. Pancras. Close this window, continue. I'm going to go ahead and read all of the signaling prompts properly here because, again, while the red, yellow, green, that part is going to come up and that's going to be simple, there may be other things mentioned in there that may be unique. So I'm going to go ahead and read these normally for you. Again, some of you this may be your first time seeing this, so I'll go ahead and I'll cover it in detail with you here. Between Ebbsfleet and St. Pancras, you will notice the TVM block markers. These signs mark the limit of a block section on lines signaled with TVM cab signaling. To clarify what that means a little bit, we saw these on the France line, on the LGV line. If you think of it as that block represents another signal, the signal is instead inside of your cab. You don't actually respond to the signal like by looking out the window and looking at it, because it's always going to be a triangle on a blue background, yellow triangle on a blue background, pointing to the right usually. That's what it's always going to be. You're going to respond to signals within your cab. So each time you pass one of those, you're going to get an update to the signals within your cab. We'll probably see more about that in a moment. The TVM display is directly in front of you in the cab. Currently it is blank, but this will change as you start driving. It actually says 0, but below the TVM display is the digital speed display that shows your current speed in kilometers per hour. That's what it wanted to tell me. It will be important to keep an eye on this as the TVM shows speeds in kilometers per hour rather than miles per hour, which is shown on the UI. I'll show you this on the UI. Close this message box to continue. Okay. The TVM display shows 3 kinds of information: line speed, warning, and execution. The following will give examples of what you may see whilst driving and how you should respond. I assume we're going to get tutorials anyway. The line speed section displays numbers on a green background and can either be static or flashing. The number displayed is the maximum operating line speed, and you are able to proceed at this speed. Flashing indicates that the next block section requires a decrease in speed. Close this window, continue. So that's a 270. So yeah, 270 kilometers per hour. Hello. The warning section displays black numbers on a white diamond surrounded by a black background and will either be static or flashing. This section indicates the speed that you should be doing by the next signal. In the example image, you would need to be doing 160 kilometers per hour by the next signal. Again, flashing indicates that there will be a decrease in speed within the next block. So basically, when you get the flashing, you have a 2-block warning that you're going to be going down to that speed, is what I take that to mean. It's a 2-block warning, and you have to be able to drop it within that 2 blocks. And yeah, nothing else. Okay. The execute section displays a black background with white numbers and will either be static or flashing. This section indicates the speed that you should currently be doing. The example image shows you should be doing 80 kilometers per hour, kph. I'm used to seeing it as kmph, but kph. Proceed on sight. 3 solid red squares is often displayed if the track section is occupied. You should proceed at between 0 and 30 kilometers per hour. Yep, 30 seems safe. This is the stop indication, 000. When this is displayed, you should stop at the next signal. Close this window, continue. Pause again. You're almost ready to depart. First, pick up passengers here at Ebbsfleet. Well, that's easy enough. There we go. Let's turn this on. Now, I think our train has already been changed over to the correct setup here, and I think that's for tutorial purposes. They've already done that. In general, I don't know if that's going to automatically be done. So either way, we are going to keep an eye on that blank area above the 0 on the display. Let's take a look around Ebbsfleet. We've never been here. So popping out of the train. This is Ebbsfleet. That's not what I want to do, but we'll do that in a second. We're just going to head back and take a quick look along the platform, and this is what it looks like here at Ebbsfleet. We have a nice building over there, and we have a nice car park over there. And you see we have a nice little curved section coming through here. So we're going to go ahead and get to the end of that. We're going to hop into our train and look at our map as we get ourselves moving. Actually, it might be wise to do that before we get moving. But there's what the platform looks like back in the train. The passengers aboard the train, you're ready to depart. Let's take a quick look at the map before we do that. So I've paused the game. You can see we're on a little bit of a curve here. This is the area coming off the main Chatham main line, and the area so this is the area. If you're not familiar with this area, by the way, Strood, that is the limit of the Chatham main line. If you head on the Medway Valley line, remember that we have the station Cuxton down here. So that is reproduced here, and obviously it goes off towards Paddock Wood on the southeastern main line. So this area is from the Chatham main line. We know this area, and of course over here it goes to Gillingham and Sittingbourne and Faversham. And there's Sheerness up there. So we know this area by now, except for Sheerness. So what we can be doing is we'd be coming along through this area here. We'd be continuing over to here, and this is where Ebbsfleet is. There's only a few stops. And normally what we would do if we were on the Train Sim World route that is now out, it has a route that's going towards Dartford. That route, I believe, would come off, I think it comes off on Northfleet, and then it continues along on this line. Let me see if I'm right on that. Yeah, Dartford. This is towards Dartford. So yeah, there's the line to Dartford. If you're on Train Sim World, this is the route you're going to be taking right here. But we're going to be taking the high-speed line going north, and as you can see, there's a fair distance of route to cover before we get to our destination, which is all the way over here. That is St. Pancras International. And near St. Pancras, you can see they've actually made a point of showing the stations nearby. There's Kentish Town, and here is Camden Road. So those have been faithfully reproduced as well. We're not actually going to be visiting those stations unless we have a service starting at them for some strange reason. But it's so close to the border, they probably aren't fully created. They're just marked for AI purposes. In any case, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves started in our train. Let's unpause and get ourselves moving. And turn the wipers on. That's a nice... Wipers. Thank you. Let's go. Oh, out of neutral. Yep, that's good. Actually, on second thought, let's move it back down to 0 for a moment because it might not have registered. Or are we not on... There we go. That's what I wanted to see. All right. So remember it said that it looks different, the kilometers per hour and the miles per hour? Notice on the train itself, it says we're going up to 40, but we're only at 25 on the HUD. Dare I say, the speed on the HUD is useless. Don't even look at the speed on the HUD. It's in miles per hour. It's useless to us right now. The only reason I'm even keeping this up right now is because of the actual topography, which I want to look at. So 80 is currently our speed limit. There's the end of a block. Bit of a downhill coming out of the station here, leaving Ebbsfleet. But now we're getting moved up to 100, so we're going to go ahead and start speeding up to 100. Once again, a bit of a speed increase, or hill here, I should say, gradient. 1 in 40 is a very, very steep gradient. You're going to be going very, very fast on a 1 in 40. We're being pushed up to our first high speed limit of 225 miles or kilometers per hour, which is, as you can see on the HUD, if you wanted to see the conversion, 140 miles per hour. So we can now push ourselves up to that very fast speed. My headlights on, by the way? I can't tell if my headlights are on. Oh, that they were. Okay, they're on. 225 remains our speed limit. We're having a hard time gaining any additional speed. This 1 in 40 uphill gradient is just murdering us. Once we flatten out, we're going to be okay. This bouncing is very interesting. Now we are going to be stopping at Stratford International. That is in 13 miles. And we are indeed gaining that speed nicely now. We're going to see if we can touch 225 here without speeding. I want to do that. There it is, 225 or 140 depending what you're looking at. Achievement unlocked. High speed 1. We're being given a flash, which has now changed. That tells me there's a train ahead of us because we got a flashing indicator. That meant that there was a train probably within range. Now we're going to get it again. So we're being told to slow down to make sure we don't crash into somebody. We're good now, but because we got that, we're going to go ahead and keep our speed a little low. So yeah, that definitely confirms there is a train ahead of us. I'll just show you the map very quickly where we are. There is the train up ahead that I am already predicting. Right there. We're following him. He just cleared 2 sections ahead of us, so this is actually very wonky right now. I'm at 160. I'm going to stay there for right now. There's the flashing again. I'm okay where I am right now, so I'm not worried about it. We're just going to see if the what happens as we get closer to Stratford. We'll have to stop there anyway. A little bit of a longer signal block up ahead. Now we're being told 200. We're fine. We're under 200. We're fine. We're just fine. We're on a bit of a downhill now. We just went back to a flashing 225. That's going to turn to 200 again momentarily. So just to explain what the system is doing here, it's making sure trains are spaced out so that they don't have to necessarily go from yellow to red in one signal block to come to a quick stop. It's impossible to stop that quickly. So what they do is they try to space the trains out. The train that was ahead of us just cleared off, so we now have full reign in the line once again at 225. And that's what we're currently working with. Now we're flashing again. So we're following that train once again. For the fact that we're getting these slowdown speeds, I feel comfortable staying a little bit under 225 now. We had our chance to hit 225, and I'm very happy to have cleared that achievement, which we're going to see at the end of the tutorial. So there's the flashing again. We are under 5 miles to go to Stratford. Now being limited to 200. I do expect the train ahead of us will be making a stop up ahead, so that's what I'm kind of hedging on right now. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to increase my speed. But we're following apparently at a pace that it's going, because we're keeping up with it at this pace. We're not gaining or losing here, so I feel okay staying at this pace. We are under 200. We're going to respond to the vigilance. It's a lot different trying to follow a train on this high speed route, that's for sure. Now we're being told to trim it to 170. Well, 161 is what we're going, so I'm going to just ignore that. Now we're being told we have a hard 200 coming up straight ahead. We're still being trimmed to 170. So the speed limit coming up is 200 kilometers per hour, but because of where we are in relation to another train, we are being coded down to 170. And this is our first indication we need to slow down a little bit more ourselves. We now are being cut to 130. Stratford International is straight ahead, so we kind of do want to slow down anyway. Being coded down to 80 now, so I'm going to put a large brake application on to get our speed down. Now down to 100. 90. I'm going to ease the brakes a little bit. We're probably going to be told to stop at the next signal, is my best guess. There's probably a train stopped at the platform, the one we were following. And 80 is now our hard limit. So I lied, that train is not at the platform. It actually has just left. It literally just left right there. So we're going to keep those brakes on slightly as we emerge from the tunnel here. We're now down to about 50 kilometers per hour, or about 30 miles per hour. Let's keep a little speed on here so we don't lose too much speed. The 80 is now execute. That is now our speed limit. 65 miles per hour, or 80 kilometers per hour. And now entering properly the platform. You saw the arrow on the other side of the track from us. That is for a train going in the other direction. Hence why the arrow is pointing to the left. So that arrow was for the other direction. We're going to put a little heavier brakes on now to get our speed down. I'm looking out the miles per hour because I have an idea where the miles per hour would be for this. So we are based on the platform location. So I'm slowing it down by the miles per hour at this time. You can do whatever you feel more comfortable doing at this point. And the doors are now open at Stratford International, platform number 2. So as you can see, I'm marked as having failed this scenario. I did not know that I was actually late at the time that I went to play, and I actually thought I was continuing to St. Pancras. I had to correct that in the subtitle text as well. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to just wanted to make sure you saw the high speed 1 achievement on here. That's what it looks like. I'm going to come back. I'm going to play the scenario a second time, but I'm not going to do it on camera. I'm just going to come back to you at the end of the scenario, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap up from there, showing you the ending screen to make sure that it can actually be done. So I'll be right back with you on that in a moment. And here we are again arriving at Stratford. Let's wrap this up. And there it is. That should do the job this time. So we're going to go ahead and get confirmation of our completion of the scenario in just a moment. And we open the doors right at 13:22:46 this time. Should be no objections to that. If being on the very second is not on time, I don't know what is. So we're going to just get a confirmation from the ending screen here as soon as it pops up, and we'll move straight to the... Oh, well done. You seem to have grasped the concepts of TVM rather quickly and successfully completed this driver training scenario. There's another achievement. Let's go ahead and go to the ending screen and look at that. And here we are. We have now completed the second tutorial, or the first one on the list, but technically the second scenario. So now we've done the high-speed drive. They gave us credit for the stop at Stratford this time. It turns out that there is actually a timetable on this tutorial scenario, which seems a little stressful if you ask me. But if you're doing the scenario correctly to time, you're going to get a 000 as we approach at Stratford. And we did not get that 000. That would mean that a train has stopped at the platform. We have to wait for that train. We can come to the signal slowly, but we have to slow down fast enough that the emergency brake doesn't kick in on us, and we have to reset that, which you can reset on the move, by the way. You don't actually have to go down to 0. You can actually reset that emergency brake on the move, so that's good to know. I didn't get to show you that because that was my second attempt at this. But you can reset on the move, and you're good to go again at that point in the TVM section. So you're not actually forced to come to a complete stop, bringing traffic to a complete halt. As long as you know what you're doing, you can get going again. So that's an important thing to remember, at least in that section. And with that done, with that said, that's, by the way, it might actually show. No, it doesn't show it at all. It doesn't even show it as emergency brake on here. But it did happen in this scenario, believe it or not. And when you actually, in order to complete this correctly, you're pulling into the station platform, also showing the 000 because the other train is leaving ahead of you. So that's, if you're doing that, you're fine for your timing because you can bring the train up to the end, hit the stop, open the doors right on time. But it is so close. I wish they added the extra minute on there just for tutorial purposes, or at least gotten rid of it completely, because there's no reason to have a timetable on a tutorial. Just my take on it. Everyone else will have their opinions on that. I just don't understand why a timetable is necessary on a tutorial mission. In any case, make sure to like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, I was about to say the scenario, but to the channel, if you want to see more like this, and I will have that for you. Hit that bell, by the way, so you know when I post something else if you want to watch it. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. I will see you for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. We're going to do a long journey. I think we're going to stay with this, do the long journey on Tuesday between Faversham and St. Pancras International, the entire run of the route. We're going to try and do that on Tuesday, if I can get that done in time. Let's see if we can do that. I'll see you for that. I'm Cyclone. Bye-bye.